Good evening, everyone. It is about 7 after 7. Apologize for not getting here right at 7 o'clock. The board was in a work and executive session, but we would like to call our regular session to order. And if you would be so kind as to stand with me and recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you for that. Welcome back to school. And we will start our regular session. It says approval of minutes, but we do not have minutes to approve. So we will go straight into item number 5, which is superintendent's presentations. Dr. Cooper, take it away.
Thank you very much. So we always like to start each month, and we started this tradition last year. Tracy Carson and her team put together a wayfinding video to just help us to dive down in to a story that's happening right here in Mason City Schools. So Tracy, I'll turn it over to you for our wayfinding video for August.
And we thought for August, it would be wonderful to kind of lean into an exciting movement that we're having with thinking about when we think about Mason's vision of each and every Comet discovering purpose and potential, we really mean each and every, and that includes each and every staff member, our classified staff, our certified staff, and our administrative staff, all of us being on that journey together. And so we thought we'd share a little bit about what that learning is going to, kind of the vision for that and what that looks like this year.
In Mason schools, our beliefs about learning start with a really simple but powerful phrase, which is that we are a community of learners. And our approach to professional learning here in Mason has always reflected that. We know as the world's changing, our students are changing, that we also, as the adults, need to continue to learn and grow to be able to reach our mission of each and every Comet discovering their purpose and potential. We have invested over the years in lots of really meaningful and impactful professional learning. We're excited this year with a new calendar to have new opportunities to have a new approach of professional learning, our staff journeys, which allow for more sustained learning over the course of the year. We are really thrilled with our journey days this year to have the opportunity to have every staff member together accessing the learning that they want and need to grow in their role. And that means everybody, our bus drivers, our nurses, our administrative assistants, our paraprofessionals, and on and on. Knowing we are a community of learners and our personalized learning rock also reminds us that the heart of personalized learning is the person. And so this approach to professional learning was actually a year in the making as we started last year by engaging our staff, leadership teams, our fusion teams from each building, studying models of personalized professional learning, helping to shape the approach that we have that's uniquely Mason. We were just thrilled to kick off our staff journeys with Comet-Con this year. This is a day of learning before the school year officially starts, when hundreds of our staff members choose to spend one of their last days of summer together, learning and sharing new ideas and being inspired by each other. And this year was really special. We, through a generous grant from the Mason Schools Foundation, were able to bring in a nationally recognized thought leader in education, A.J. Giuliani, who was sharing insights from some of his latest work, a book he published, Meaningful and Relevant, Engaging Learners in an Era of Distraction, and AI was a focus, and that's something a lot of us are thinking about. It was a way to sort of take a pause before the school year officially started to think about, what does that mean for us as educators? How do we continue to do the kind of rich and develop the kind of rich educational experiences that we know every student deserves and wants, while the world and technology is rapidly changing? for this year's staff journeys, we got input from all of our staff about what was most needed for them. And using that, have identified 14 different pathways that our educators could choose from to meet their needs. Everything from the role of how to use AI and other emerging technologies to support student learning, to interdisciplinary pathways, to foundational learning around literacy and math instruction. So we have these 14 pathways that staff can choose from, and we also knew that that would not fit every need. And so our staff members also have the option to design their own project pathway. And we have about 8 groups that are doing that too, in areas like the performing arts, which have unique needs. We're excited to see how these pathways take flight starting in September.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Brennan. Thank you, team, and all the people behind the scenes that make that possible. Thank you, Tracy. Our second superintendent presentation tonight. So excited to welcome back Coach Reed, and I'll turn it over to Coach Reed to talk a little bit about the boys tennis team and some of the accomplishments. And you know, Mason loves tennis, if you haven't heard, and Mason City Schools is just building legacy for the tennis game. So, Coach Reed, you want to take it over? Thanks. Welcome.
All right, got some notes here. Got to do a father of the bride speech on Saturday night, so I want to make sure I'm giving the right speech.
Congratulations.
Anyway, I'm Mike Reed. I've coached the team for a long time together with my co-coach, Leighton Jones. I'd like to thank the board for having us, particularly because these guys play in the spring, and if they win a championship, they don't really get a lot of fanfare for it because next thing you know, you got graduation, grad parties, you name it, is going on, and they don't get much recognition in the school. So thanks so much for having them. They're just a really talented and focused group of guys. And I haven't been here for the boys for 3 years because there was a school on Cornell that had some really unbelievable teams for the last 3 years. So we took a few years off, but we're back. And I think most of these guys are coming back. We lost, I think, one senior. Is that correct? So really talented kids, and what I'm going to do now is let them just stand up and introduce themselves, and tell you what position they played on the team most of the time. If we'd start with Mr. Tomko. Go ahead, stand up and let everybody know who you are.
Maybe come to the mic for us.
These guys,
yeah.
Come on up, guys.
And the viewers
Yeah.
at home can hear your voice. So
Yeah.
if you
Come
can
on, all you guys go.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, what position you play on the team?
So,
Go ahead.
my name is Daniel Tonko. I played mostly at second singles for us. Yeah, I'm a junior as well, yeah. I was a junior.
Yeah, senior now.
My name is Greg, and I played one singles, and I'm a senior right now.
Okay.
My name is Leo. I am a sophomore, and I mainly played second dubs.
My name is Nakul. I'm a current senior now, and last year on the team I played second doubles.
I'm Ryan. I am a junior this year, and I played second doubles last year.
I'm Sean. I'm a sophomore, and I played second doubles last year.
I'm Yannick Tepley. I'm a sophomore and I played one doubles last year.
Excellent. You guys can have a seat for just a second, and I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about the team. The position that they played on the team is kind of important because I'm going to talk a little bit about how high school tennis works. But the good thing there is that some of the guys introduce themselves with their first names, and you know, I'm a coach, so I didn't even know some of their first names. All know by their last names all season. But anyway, first I do have to acknowledge our number one singles player. In high school, Ohio high school tennis, there's a singles competition at the end of the year, and there's also a team tournament at the end of the year. You play the singles the finals on a Friday this year, and then the team is on a Saturday. And on the Friday, we had a state champ. There he is, right up there. Greg Bernansky, please stand up. Mr. Bernansky. And Greg is the third state champ in Mason history. He's quite a tennis player, and he's back this year. So that's a lot of fun for us. But I'm really kind of a team guy. I love my guys to win individual championships, but we're really all about the team. In the season, it really keeps the kids focused. So I had the guys introduce themselves and say what their order on the team was, because in high school tennis you play 3 singles and 2 doubles, and you have to play those in order of strength. So your first singles player should be able to beat the second singles player, et cetera. We've got 2 of the top guys in the state right here playing 1 and 2 singles, probably 2 of the top 5 guys in the state. 2 guys missing tonight. Senior Aaron Dornhecker's at Miami, and we have Shreyas Mantha had an emergency meeting at Indiana. Cryptic, but we'll find out more out about that later. But he asked me how he could access it, and I gave him the information, so hopefully he's watching. Anyhow, the team tournament, you kind of have a sense as a coach how it might wind up toward the end of the season. And with this year and this group of guys, I thought we could get to the Final Four. And it looked to me like a team that was about even with us was New Albany. I think we've won 4 state championships. We've had to go through New Albany every time. And it looked like it was going to happen again. We played them at our place, and we beat them 4-1. And I think the guys were thinking that we could beat them every time we play them. But I'm a coach, and I worry all the time. And so I thought about that match for a long time, the potential match that we would have at Worcester College. And if we were to play them again, and we did in fact play them in the semis. And the first time we won 2 of the matches, I think in 3 sets, and it was really close. So I did something that I planned for a long time and changed our lineup a little bit, which I don't usually do. So it worked like this. Usually we would have Greg and Daniel play 1 and 2, and then Shreyas, who's not here, play 3. Tepley, who might be, won the GMC at number 1 singles this year, is a heck of a tennis player. We put him in doubles because he's so good, so aggressive. And we had him playing number 1 doubles most of the season, and along with Dornhecker. So I had this great idea that if we moved Tonkel and Tepley to number 1 doubles, that was going to be a really good team. And they would have a possibility of winning the state tournament in doubles just together. They're a really good team. And then I moved our usual 3-player and 1 doubles player to 2 doubles, and we should win those 2. So we should have 2 points. And then I hate to use the word sacrifice. That put Fu and Quinn at 2 and 3 singles respectively. And I don't know how this transpired, but we found ourselves down 2-0 pretty quickly. And what that lineup does, I really felt confident that we would win the 2 doubles. That puts a bunch of pressure on number 1 here to win, because he knows it. So I talked to him maybe 3 or 4 weeks earlier, and I said, "How do you feel about this?" And Greg grunted. But I watched him for the next 3 or 4 weeks, including his run to the state title, and there was no doubt in my mind that this is a kid that's going to handle the pressure, and he did. And we got a state championship out of that, because I don't remember who we played in the state championship match, but the semis was really the state championship once again. Who did we play? In this University School. And we won that match. They're a good team, but we were better, and we wound up with state championship. So thanks, guys, for allowing and putting up with that switch of what your normal lineup was. But it worked out for us this time, and we got state champions. Thanks for having us. We appreciate it once again.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. The board, would you like to ask any questions or talk to any of the players?
Why don't we get the guys up here behind the podium here?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry we make you come here to be recognized and stand there and be peppered with our questions. We appreciate it. I'm wondering, could somebody speak to what it meant to get back to the state championship after those 3 years that we took off, like Coach said? What did it mean for you to do that for your team?
I think I can speak for the team, knowing like the year before we lost to the school on Cornell in the quarterfinal match, And I mean, it was really heartbreaking loss. So I think we all took that kind of personally and like used that as fuel to really like work a lot harder this season. And then we really just like got stronger and like we bonded as a team throughout the season, and we played our best tennis, I think, there against New Albany.
Greg grunted.
Show of hands, how many of you guys have either attended or volunteered at the Cincinnati Open over the years? Ever. So, I'm just like, for those of you who have, what's your earliest memory of attending that tournament?
My earliest memory is going with my dad and sitting at top row of the center court. That's all I remember.
Remember how old you were? Or?
No, I don't, but I was pretty young.
Okay. Anybody ever been a ball boy? Yeah?
That's awesome.
Can you share with us what that's like and how that maybe has complemented your interest in the
I think
sport?
it's just a pretty like fun experience, like watching the players on court, but also like it makes your like game like just better overall. Like watching like the players' movement, like their footwork, their shot selection, just makes you like better overall at tennis too.
Cool.
Can I ask you all, what does your off-season schedule routine look like to prepare for the next season?
Tennis is all year round, and most sports are like during the season, but not for us. We play tennis tournaments around the country, and it's very packed. I mean, a lot of guys here play 7 times a week, so it's a lot of work, and yeah, it's all year round, so it's very intense.
So you play 7 days a week. Any thought of transitioning to pickleball? It's a craze sweeping the nation. I don't know. You guys heavy into pickleball yet or no?
We're not taking that.
Until college pickleball becomes a sport, yeah.
That is the right answer.
Well played.
You guys individually are astounding, and then came together to do something phenomenal. And coaches can see that and coach that, but that's a decision that you guys as athletes make to sacrifice and come together as a team. So your school district, all of us, your community are just so proud that you guys accepted your roles and played them to the best of your ability, and brought home a state championship to back to Common Country. So thank you guys. We appreciate it. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Now you guys got to come down and get a picture with us.
Yeah, we've got something for you.
We
Come on down.
got some gifts and photographs.
Come across the street for your hands.
You guys come right down here.
Stage Dad.
No, and I found this. I got a discount fashion awareness. It's from Loft. It was $19.
Oh, nice. I don't think I've ever been to this.
It's just you just never know what you're gonna do. It's kind of fun. You're just gonna go. But I had.
Is it like you buy a bigger size?
When you what?
You buy a bigger size. Is this like
I wear
All
like
right,
size
let's
6.
try to
If I get
let's try.
Sometimes you're just smaller. I'd rather do a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you have to return it, they just tell you they just send you the next size.
Connie, come over here by Mr. Teckley. There we go. That works. There we go. All right. And yeah. That's great.
looking good. Fit in just right.
Very nice.
We good? Congratulations! Well done.
Prizes for don't leave yet.
Some gifts.
Was he?
That's cool. So I went over on Sunday for the women's semi.
As the guys are going back to their seats and as people are still tuned in, just a clarification. A question was asked, when's the last time maybe, or your first time you were at the tennis center? I just heard Greg actually is one of the hitting partners for the pros. So Greg was actually out at the tennis tournament hitting with the pros. Is that right, Greg?
That's awesome.
That's good. I mean, that's a good thing. I know you're very humble. We appreciate but
Are you the one that wore down Yannick Sinner? Oh, wow.
Oh, really? Wow.
It's like
So
a modern
Mason-
Seinfeld episode. He
so
wore,
cool.
wore down the champ.
Well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you guys again. We usually take a pause. First of all, before I pause, tennis is an exciting sport, but it's only exciting because your parents will come and clap for you in the sun and the rain. So let's give a hand for the parents who sit there and cheer for their children. So we thank you guys for coming. We appreciate your hard work and dedication, but we'll pause here for those that came to celebrate our state champions. We will allow you guys, if you want to leave, to go and do other things. But if you want to hear what we've got going on in Mesa City Schools, you are more than welcome to stay. So we will take a break.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Did you? It's hard on the shoulders. All right, we will return to regularly scheduled programming at item number 7, hearing of the public. Tracy, do we have anything tonight?
Nothing tonight.
Thank you so much. We are moving on to item number 8, superintendent's recommendation personnel items. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Dr. Cooper.
Yes, let me run through a few items. There is a lot on this agenda, and I want to thank Dr. Blessing and team for going through. I know this is one of our first big personnel lists, but there, in August, we finish up all of the hiring, and then we bring everybody on for the setting up the year, basically, for fall sports, fall supplementals, and all the work that's going on. So thank you so much for the work and all the details that were put together. Highlighting a few things, sections A through F, administrative personnel items. We had a couple corrections that we had to make from last time. It's basically the amount of days that we had on a previous agenda, and we have some people Soroya move into a new role, for example, for a 260. So we did some corrections there, so you'll see those show up on the agenda just to make sure that we have that correct. Section H, we have substitute teacher approvals. We have so many substitute teachers. It is amazing. I remember sitting here and just really pleading for public to consider being a substitute teacher. And so now it's just so great to see how many substitute teachers. And I remind our guest teachers, this year we're so fortunate because Dr. Blessing and Eric Messer put together a session that was just for our guest teachers, to train our guest teachers. And that was feedback we heard from our teachers saying, would be great if you had our substitutes come in, go through some safety procedures and other expectations, and just make sure that they feel cared for and ready to come into our classrooms, because our guest teachers are an extension of our teachers, and it allows our teachers to have confidence while they're out with a sick kid or a doctor's appointment or out for other reasons. And so we're just so grateful for everyone that has signed up, gone through that, and grateful for the ability to be able to serve them well and set them up for success. So that's you'll see that long list in here. Section I want to just thank Abigail Geis for stepping in and helping us with a math class and covering a math class during her plan period. You'll see that on there. So if a teacher is stepping in during their plan period to help us to, instead of hiring another teacher for one period, which is hard to find, sometimes a teacher will step into that and then we pay them for that plan period for teaching during that time. So we just appreciate that. Section N is teacher leaders. So teacher leaders and other folks that are stepping into leadership roles. We started our Big Rock leader roles in, I don't know what year that was, but we brought them on and began to decide that those teachers are giving time above and beyond the classroom commitments, and so we wanted to pay those folks for stepping up in those leadership roles because it really helps us with the foundation of moving our work forward. And those roles are moving into our momentum strategy, which I believe next month I'll share a little bit about that here at the board meeting. But the momentum strategy is our Big Rock lead stepping up in two ways. A fusion team is a team that is really helping to shepherd along the work this year, the focus of this year, the work that we as a district have said we're trying to get this work to move forward as, like, for example, the work with our personalized professional learning with our staff, our journey days with our students and our families, and some of the different focus areas that we're trying to move forward successfully. In looking into next year, that's that fusion team. And then we have futures teams, and those are our teacher leaders that are stepping up and helping us to think through what are things in the future that we need to be looking at so that our district always has that competitive advantage. So, for example, artificial intelligence, looking at what are the different ways that we could use that thoughtfully and then integrate that back into our classrooms, and then what training do we need for our teachers to make sure they feel fully supported in how to integrate that. Just one example of how that works. In those future teams, we'll work, as Dr. Brennan in the video mentioned earlier, with our school, Mason Schools Foundation, and looking at grant opportunities. So when it's above and beyond and we're trying to test something out for the first time as a district, that's what that team will do. So you'll see them, folks that have stepped up into those leadership roles in that section of our agenda. Section P and W are certified and classified supplementals. Just a comprehensive list of all the investment that our staff gives. And you just heard some coaches tonight talking about, and you can just hear the relationships they build with our kids. And we're so grateful for that, knowing our kids, knowing how they work, but also making strategic decisions in those big moments on the big stage to make a shift in the lineup, as the coach was talking today, to set our kids up for success. And so we appreciate people stepping into all those roles that you'll see in sections P and W. Sections A, E, and AF are booster-funded positions. Most of those are athletic, marching band. It's a powerful reminder that our community is just so generous, and our boosters, I'm just so grateful, as you mentioned, Ian, about our parents and the support they provide. This weekend we had, I know our basketball boosters for girls and boys basketball out helping park cars at the, actually for the last 2 weeks out at the tennis tournament. And so just seeing our boosters and our kids get involved in the community and continue to set our kids up for success. There are some additional personnel items. There is a salary schedule for a new transportation lead coach position with some transition in our transportation department with Mark Merzanowski retiring, Adam Clary coming on. We sat down with our bus drivers. One thing that they had wanted was a bus driver who is also kind of a lead coach, does some floater bus driving, so drives the bus when needed, but also supports our folks. Today we had an example where a bus driver called in, needed some support on the bus. That person is able to go there and be that support. And Bill Schuster is doing that. He's Bill Schusler, and he's just he's greatly respected by the transportation department and bus drivers as well. And then we're also in item C, you'll see that we are recommending that we continue the incentive program for our transportation department and our student nutrition department. We started that shortly after COVID because we were looking to recruit the best talent into those departments and to retain the talent. And so we've adjusted that over time, and so we are going to continue that at least one more year to make sure. This is the if I remember correctly, and Todd, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the most it's the fullest staff we've ever had with our transportation department, I think, if that's the correct way to say that. So that's a good thing. Usually we start off and we're a little bit shy. This year we have enough staff to cover all transportation routes, and we have subs in place. I think that's everything. Sean, anything you want to add to those last two?
That was great.
Okay.
Real quick, section U and V, I think we have one person in there in each section. So retirements and leaves of absence, classified personnel. Sorry, I should have caught that earlier, but both effective March 1st. So I don't know if
yes.
technically it needs to come off of which one.
I'm looking now, but we can make that correction. Yeah.
Okay.
And if that is an incorrect date, we'll actually put that on next month's agenda and make that correction. So I apologize. With a large agenda, it's probably one we might have missed. Is that section U, you said?
U and
Matt?
V, yeah. So it may be that there's a leave of absence before the retirement.
Dr. Blessing, anyone add to that, or yes, we'll make that.
It's a like two-prong item with retirement and some additional benefits that the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce had to approve. So it's got a couple of leaves together, but by the time the committee voted on the requests for different types of retirement or leaves, they coincided on the same date. But
So this is accurate.
yes, it is.
Got it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Blessing.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Good question.
It's just interesting that you can have a leave of absence from a position that you retired from the same day. Something.
The state retirement, yeah, sometimes they will actually go back and backdate things at the state level. So,
One of the many, many quirks about
yeah.
education administration. Thank you.
Sure.
I will say we have administrative personnel resignation. Dr. Robin Jordan, want to just recognize her for her deep contributions to the district while she was here and the roles that she played. So just want to say thank you and good luck to her in her new role with a different district. No, she'll do great.
Exciting opportunity for her.
She's doing great. Yeah. We've talked often, and she's doing great stuff. She's super excited about the work that she has in front of her. Thanks.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. Sean, please call the roll.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Mrs. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Galvin?
Yes.
Four oh.
Moving on to item number 9, which is, fun. Board OSBA delegate and alternate. Do I have a motion? Do I need a motion?
So move.
You need a nomination.
I need nominations. So we need a OSBA delegate and an alternate.
Yep.
So
Do we know who it was last year?
Well, I think it was me last year.
I believe so.
I think that of the folks here at the dais, we know Mr. Steele will be here in November.
we
so
know that for sure.
I think it'd be appropriate to be a delegate. That's, well, I mean, just like,
Marginally.
Desiree will be here in November too.
that's true. She will be.
So it sounds like we've got our delegate and alternate.
I think that's right.
As long as you put her in the category.
I would nominate Mr. Steele for our delegate and Ms. Batchy for our alternate.
Second.
That sounds fine.
All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
One of these days, let's put it on the work session agenda. Before.
So we've got Mr. Steele as our delegate and Mrs. Batchy as our alternate. That was fun. That was easy.
Get to vote.
Well reasoned,
There you go.
counselor. So we'll move on to item number 10, superintendent's recommendations, action items. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Dr. Cooper.
All right, let me run through these, and if I get any out of order, correct me, and I'll jump back in because I do see there's maybe a new item or two on here. Maximum Healthcare, that's an annual agreement for sub-nurses. So if our nurses have to step out, we do have sub-nurses ready and available. It's a great service, works well for us. Imagine Learning is an annual special education curriculum support purchase that we have for continuing to support our kids. Thomson Reuters is a new automated residential verification system. Did I get that right, Christine? Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, sure. We'll be using this in the registration department and help verify residency. So it just protects our taxpayers' dollars and makes sure that folks that are attending our district actually live here.
That's great. Thank you very much. Next one is Next Steps. Next Steps is a technology support for our Google license and cloud storage support because here's good news. For 10 years, we have been in the Google Cloud, and we have been maximizing and using it and collaborating and doing that under their, they have a free level for education, and it's a safe level, and we've maxed it out over 10 years. But, I mean, if you think about all the things that we've been able to do with email, calendaring, and docs for our taxpayer dollars and not spending any. Now, we are at the maximum cloud storage, and we did do some cleaning up, but we still need to expand that. So that's what this licensure is about. So, and most people in the world have probably run into that with your iPhone storage, and you've had those moments where you have to make a decision: do I get rid of all these pictures, or do I pay for some storage? So that's where we are. Let's see, Hamilton County ESC for St. Sue. St. Sue, they run those through us, so this is an agreement to support the St. Sue schools. Warren County ESC for Royalmont, same concept with the Royalmont schools, runs through our books, and Sean's office makes sure that those get onto our agenda. And I think Amy Brennan probably works a little bit with them too if they have questions on how those services might play out. Power Schools is, we're continuing that agreement because they are running our enrollment data and hosting services. Enrollment data is important to us as we predict the enrollment. As people see housing going up all the time, we're always monitoring that to make sure that we have a good handle on that, and they provide services. It used to be called something Decision Insight, but Power School bought Decision Insight like they've bought many other, so that's why it's now a Power School. And we're evaluating all of those services this year. That's part of one of our OKRs, is looking at all the different systems and services, so we'll get back to you on where that is. Forward Edge, that's a tech support for our Wi-Fi infrastructure. So you see the Wi-Fi around, you'll see these little pieces in the ceiling. That is, they take care of all that and make sure it works. The Paradigm, that is an expansion of our cybersecurity course. We're going to level 2. That came through the student achievement. We talked about that, and this actually will lead kids to a certification opportunity in that level 2, and that's the Paradigm contract. McGraw-Hill is an online instructional materials for our high school English language arts classes. Hazel Health is a new item that we are offering for families if they are not able to access the services through Cincinnati Children's. That will always start there because that's our partner. But this would be a free resource for families beyond that need that support for the parents or for their kids for a telehealth option. And so that's a new item to expand our mental health and well-being practices. And I'll give you an update on that as we learn more about that throughout this year. It's the first year we're trying it. Warren County ESC shows up here again for a special needs contract for specific placement for some of our students that we're unable to meet their needs here locally. And Cincinnati Center of Autism, the same thing. Butler County ESC, they have done English language support for our teachers, helping our teachers understand the best strategies for how to meet the needs of English learners in our classrooms. And so we're going to continue that service. We've got great positive feedback from our staff. We want to continue that. Transportation handbook. Each year we approve an annual handbook for our transportation department, and so that's on here as well. Student nutrition also has their handbook on here for approval. Where does that leave me here? Approval. And then ComDoc agreement license. I might need just some quick support on help on that one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so for the past probably 7 to 8 years, when Chromebooks would go out of commission, so we no longer use them with students because the licenses or the OS couldn't be updated anymore. So we would take those licenses and then apply them to new ones. And so we were able to not purchase Google licenses for years. Well, finally, they're no longer supporting that, and we have to buy the licenses. So we always budgeted for it just in case this day happened. And unfortunately, the day happened, and we have to pay for every one of those. We can't borrow from one that is decommissioned and then use it. So they're making us purchase them. So that's what that's about.
Thank you. Did I miss any questions, I guess?
So I have a question on the Thomson Reuters. So that's a 3-year agreement, and are they governed? My guess is that they're looking at some public, maybe even personally identifiable administration. Are they governed by our data security agreements? Do we have a data security agreement with them because they're checking our students?
They're not checking ours. We use theirs.
We use theirs.
Yes. So we will look up when somebody registers, we'll be able to actually put in that address and that person and make sure that those sync up.
Got it.
Yeah. So it actually, what that service does is it'll use mail, like USPS kind of things. So if they're receiving mail and things at that address, if there's a credit card at that address, we can't see all of the actual data. It's just verification that that is true.
Okay.
But it's a pretty extreme, we have to go through and actually take pictures of where that will be done. It's because that's privileged information. So.
Right. Okay. And does it make a determination for us? It says, yes, they do live there, don't live there, they have questions, is it?
Yeah, it'll say they do or they don't, or from the data that they have. We have to still make that determination because they can do an affidavit too, which means they're living with a Mason resident, and that allows them to still come to school here.
Okay.
So we just secure that, and if they can't provide that, and it has to be notarized.
Perfect.
We go from there.
Sean or Jonathan, can you, for the folks that might be looking at a blank $ amount next to the item E,
It's on board.
Yeah, it's actually,
can you just
I
walk
think it
through
got
that?
printed before the electronic version went live. It's 153,000. And this is also using auxiliary funds. Auxiliary funds, for anybody who doesn't know, these are state dollars that flow through to private schools in our community. The public school in that community is responsible for basically being the fiscal agent for those dollars. And so that's kind of our role in these things. If there's auxiliary funding, which we have a couple of these up here on this agenda, we are just the fiscal agent. Those dollars pass through from the state, and we cut the checks and process the reports for those.
Do we get paid for that?
We get a small fiscal agent fee for that.
Gotcha. Any other commentary? Seeing none, Mr. Bevan, please call the roll.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
Mr. Govan?
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
4-0.
We are at item number 11, the treasurer's report. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Bevan?
So what we have on the agenda tonight, we have a few things, mostly our June financial report. So item A is our general fund report. So that's actually a comparison of the current month compared to the same month's activity from a previous year and actually multiple previous years. So that's what item A is. Item B is our cash summary report. So these are just cash balances in each of our funds. We have, as a governmental entity, we use fund accounting, and so there's lots of different funds, and so each of those has a cash balance, so we report those here. Item C is checks written. So that's just a list of our checks that are written for the month. Item D is our investment report. So we do have dollars invested in a couple of different places. So this is a report of that activity as of the end of June. Item E is our inventory disposals. This is actually for St. Susanna School. So as I mentioned earlier, the auxiliary funding. So this is another piece of this. So if the state auxiliary funds are used to purchase Chromebooks or textbooks or something at the private school level, when they go to dispose of those, they actually have to be disposed of through the fixed asset disposal process, and so that's what we have here. Item F is donations. Typically these are cash, but they can be other things as well. And item G is just enrichment personnel that are contracted personnel that work in our enrichment programs after school and whatnot at the different buildings.
Thank you, sir. Any comments? Seeing none, Mr. Bevan, please call the roll.
Yes.
Mr. Orr?
Yes.
Mr. Steele?
Yes.
Ms. Yingling?
Yes.
4-0.
We are at item number 12, committee reports, and it looks like we just have one, Mason Schools Foundation, so I'll turn to Tracy.
Well, just it's funny because Mason Schools Foundation never takes a break. You know, we're going hard and a lot of what was really an important time. We had more students in need this year than we have ever had need school supplies. And so almost 1,000 Mason Comets were provided for, and they're
Nearly 10% of our students.
nearly 10% of our student population. And we tried also a day where folks came to central office, and about half of those kids actually came and got their own supplies, got their backpacks. So, I mean, I was watching around we live, Greater Cincinnati is a wonderful place. You're seeing all these different things, a community that gave 100, backpacks, and Big Brothers, Jonathan did a nice thing on WLWT, and we were before that, Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and they were doing 100 backpacks. And I thought, my gosh, we did 1,000 backpacks. And it's just because, and a huge credit to Jessica Orr, Ian's incredible wife, who really spearheaded that, but also a whole lot of community volunteers who donated to make sure that Ken and Joan Campbell's vision, when that was a marching order from them very shortly after we started the foundation, was above and beyond also needs to mean making sure that we meet the basic needs right from the get-go. And I think they'd be really pleased at that. So that was a big piece. And then also a lot of gala planning. So we're hot and heavy in that. We're really excited to be able to do it at the Dream Center this year. It's going to be an incredible night. And we're looking forward so save the date, Now
October 25th.
October 25th. Thank you, Matt. Saturday, October 25th, and you too can join the party and think of ways to just keep giving back to our Comets.
Thank you, Tracy. I will just say two things. I am beyond proud of the work that my wife does with the foundation and specifically heading up this effort. She's going to kill me when I get home. She hates the spotlight, but just her tenacity and care is just unmatched. And, the second thing I'll say is that need knows no gender, no color, it is something that we do well is meet the needs of others in this community. And so to watch this come together to serve those who needed to be served and were grateful to be served was really an awesome thing. So great work by the Mason Schools Foundation as a whole. We are just made better because they care about this district and this community. So thank you to the Mason Schools Foundation for the work they did this summer getting that together. That said, there's no more committee reports, so we'll move on to item number 13, legislative update. So we'll turn to Dr. Cooper for that.
Yeah, just a couple of just quick items that are out there. House Bill 8 is Parents' Bill of Rights. If anybody has questions about that out there that would like to talk further, we do have answers for that. But the premise is basically if there are a change of services for a student directly involving their physical or mental well-being, then we are working with the family to educate them on what those changes are. That has already been part of our practices in the past, but that is something that is now as a part of that law. If there is any question about any kind of sexual education that happens in our schools that parents would have questions about, we are more than happy to meet with parents and show them exactly where that is. It's very predictable. Do parents have the rights to opt out of some of those things? Yes, there are all those options. Those are options we've had before, still options, a part of the House Bill 8. So if anybody does have questions, Dr. Brennan and myself, we'd be happy to answer those questions. There's also the cell phone policy that was newer this year. That is a policy where during instruction time, so the law states that during instruction time, pre-K 8, there are no, pre-K 12, no cell phones during instruction time. The way that we're addressing that, I think, is a very common sense address that we are doing that. We've already had that in place pre-K 8 as a district before the law came out. We are doing that in our classrooms now in the high school. I will put one caveat there. There are some classrooms where there are entrepreneur or kids that are working with, because we have a whole XLP, which is experiential learning, where kids are actually working with adults in the world and experts in the world, and they're communicating through using their cell phones, setting up appointments, taking on job opportunities. So we do allow that in account because we do want our high school kids to have the experience of how do I interact and communicate in the real world. So I think it's a wise approach for us. So just so we know that as a community, but during instructional time in the classroom, we're getting kids off the social media temptations that they could maybe have there. So that's cell phone. If anybody has questions about that, please let us know as well. But kids are allowed to have them at school, just not out. So there is that safety piece. I think the only other thing with legislative, I can't remember what updates we gave this summer, but just if anyone was paying attention, we were doing all the writing to the state and reaching out to the state. I know we've talked about it internally. The board did a great job just managing that and talking to our community about that throughout that time. We did on the other end of that paid off and worked well with our legislators, and we are in a fiscally stable position. It's not a lot of new money, but it is a stable position. There is some additional dollars that came to Mason based on some of the things that we have accomplished here in recognition from the state to do that. If anybody wants to have those details spelled out for them, Sean Bevan would be a great resource for that.
Quick.
Is that okay?
That's great.
Yeah, great.
Quick question, Jonathan. Where do things stand with the override efforts for some of those items?
So there were items that were brought. They were considering bringing a few different 4 items at the point from the House to be that were vetoed, and they wanted to override those. Those came forward 2 of those items were brought out of the 4, mostly dealing with different kinds of levies that are out there, not levies specifically to what we do here in Mason, but other kinds of levies. And so right now where that sits is waiting on the Senate to see if the Senate would pick that up. There is no scheduled talk or meetings right now or times that the Senate has decided to move forward on that. So I think it just is sitting out there. The way that we see that is that was a preview of priorities for the next General Assembly. So we're looking at that as they're putting those out there and saying this is next on our list. And I think property tax is a big conversation. We know that, and we have Matt Nolan from here in Warren County is sitting as one of the 11 members of the governor's team looking at how do we address property tax when it and then school funding and how that's all going to work. So if we're going to address property tax, we can't forget that it's connected directly to our funding model for schools today. So that's where it sits. Any other news on that?
No, I think you covered it well. That there were actually a few other things. So obviously the governor vetoed several things in the budget bill there at the end of June. There were a few things that the House was talking about bringing back. They actually got one of them to a vote. And as Jonathan said, they're still sitting out there. The House has talked about having another session to veto or to override more vetoes. As of now, nothing else is scheduled, but we'll keep watching all that.
And I think we looked internally and said that there would be minimal impact with those overrides should they pass.
So yeah, that's correct. So the veto actually was some of the items that were vetoed were relatively significant for us. Cash reserve policy for one. The ones that are potentially being overridden, those items wouldn't, as Jonathan mentioned, would not have a huge impact on our district here locally. Those are more. They are things that would impact other districts, but not so much here in Mason.
Thank you, Sean. Anything else, Dr. Cooper?
That's it for me. Thanks.
All right. Thank you for your legislative update. We are on to item number 14. I'm sure we've got a lot of administrator commentary as this is day 2 of everybody being back in the building. So we will start with Mrs. Carson.
Well, Mason does love tennis. It was so great having our boys state champion here, and what a point of pride for those of us who live in Mason to get to have this, the world-class tennis that we did, seeing the improvements that were made there, and now anyone in Mason gets to have a little piece of that tennis tournament because beginning tomorrow and Thursday, you can take your planters that are starting to look a little, they need a little refresh. And the incredible, gorgeous, overflowingly and beautiful flowers that were at the ATP, you get brand new. Buy them here at the high school in front of the building from 2 to 6 p.m. All those proceeds are going to go to now recognize our nationally ranked Mason dance team.
Nice.
Mason loves tennis, Mason loves dance, Mason loves beautiful plants. Get it all done tomorrow and Thursday, right here.
See, these plants, they have to cost what, hundreds, thousands of dollars?
You would think, but no, Charles, no. These are incredible prices. I know I got a whole slew of refresh last year, though, and I don't even think I spent $50. So, this is like, you're not going to find a better deal.
So the same plants that Iga Swiatek, Carlos Alcaraz walked past every day.
You now
could own those plants.
Those very plants.
Incredible.
Incredible. I'm with Tracy. I'm an annual customer. It's my favorite sale of the year.
They have sweat drops of greatness in them in the bases. So.
But they will last through. You want trick or treaters to be greeted with beautiful plants. This is your shot.
We're gonna have to get there early now.
Seriously.
Thank you, Tracy. We will move on to Dr. Brennan.
Thank you. Well, there's so much to potentially recognize, and including the plant sale as we start a new school year. I kind of, I was thinking about it. It's kind of like when you're going to see an orchestra or a band perform, and it gets really quiet, and then they all pick up their instruments, and then, the auditorium just fills with sound. It really is that kind of moment where every single staff member is just like ready to go and owning their role and making amazing things happen. Our families are changing their routines and getting kids up and out earlier than usual and figuring out pickup and drop off. And it is always a reminder of what a special place it is to be here, and just that you know that everyone is giving their best to do their best for our students. So there's so many individual things I could recognize. One thing I wanted to make sure to acknowledge was, which you got to see me nice and large on the screen there, was our Comic-Con event. And a lot of thanks to, you heard me talk about it here and with our staff journeys, but a lot of thanks to Chrissy Huffnagel and Shauna Buemiller, our learning experience supervisors, and that entire team of learning experience designers who really are the engine behind making that happen. As well as we offered, we had AJ Giuliani, which was really amazing. We also had almost 60 different individual sessions that our staff members just rose their hand and said, yeah, I'm going to do it. So Tim King, as a paraprofessional now, and of course former, amazing teacher here at the high school. I had a teacher who said, I've been teaching now over 20 years and I've never presented before, but I just felt called to do it. Like, this was my year to start to give back and share some of the things that I have found that work in my classroom. And had a full room that she was sharing with. So it was just really grateful for people. It's not lost on me, one of those last days of summer, to say, I'm going to come here and be with, my people and learn and share together is wonderful. So grateful for that. And then to Mason Schools Foundation for making it extra special between having AJ Giuliani there and some fun other prizes and other things that we will actually carry through the year at our journey days as well. Danny, who's here, and they were there volunteering and handing out notebooks and offering that support as well. So it really, when we think about being a community of learners, it's the broadest sense of community. It's our staff, it's their students, it's our great partners like Mason Schools Foundation as well.
Thank you, Dr. Brennan. We'll turn it over to the GM of the team who brought together this wonderful staff, this big new class, Dr. Blessing.
Well, thank you. I feel privileged to be a part of those 92 folks that we hired before last Monday. I think we're at 92. Now, of course, it's ebbed and flowed already since then. So, and I've already spoken with some of our special ed supervisors, and we'll probably be hiring a few more specialized paras or special ed paras with some of our new students that we have enrolled as well. But it's been a great learning journey for me so far, and I will continue to learn. But I want to shout out to Sean and Terry. They've been a big help to the HR department. Of course, Aaron Bach is very new to his role as well. So we feel we're learning every day and getting better. And of course, Sarah Joe is our veteran staff member in HR for 3 years. So we definitely feel like we're building the ship as we're going, but it's been fun. So we're excited to see and be a part of this cohort of staff from 2025 and just seeing their journey start. And we have some fun things planned for their first paychecks coming up in September. And so looking forward to that. But it's just been a great start, and just to see all the new faces, whether they're new to education or new to Mason, just some wonderful staff members. And thank you to all of you for supporting them and all of us as we continue their journeys and our learning journeys together. So it's been great and wonderful seeing the tennis team. And Tracy, I will be shopping for plants tomorrow after your sale. And I hear their cash check, any type of funds, they're ready to go. So thank you.
Now I can't help but wonder if she's going to show up like Publishers Clearinghouse on somebody's porch with that first,
Kind of.
like a giant.
So I like that idea. I also had a thought, which is if we get the Schools Foundation to hire Cuba Gooding Jr. to bring them together and just say, show me the money. No. Just thoughts, musings. Christine.
Well, it's been, there's so much adrenaline right now happening out there. I mean, for us that have been preparing for everybody to come back, summer's awesome, but there's nothing like routine and getting everybody here. Because we always think we have all the time in the world over the summer, and it seems to just evaporate, and then everybody's here. But people have spent so much time and care this summer. Our registration team, they were working 7 days a week for at least 3 weeks.
to make sure, and they were saying, we have to get these kids registered. It was a conviction. It wasn't anything I said, listen, we need to recharge, and you need to do these things, take care of yourself. They were continuing. So I just want to actually just reach out and recognize, I guess, that their effort. Nicole Evans, incredible. She has been an incredible addition to the team that you all approved in May, I believe, around that time. She has helped, and Ian, you were mentioning data privacy. So she's helping with our data privacy agreements. We have a system for that. We make sure when any new software is coming in, that's just part of the process now. But she's helped to secure all of those, and honestly, I feel like all in all, it's been pretty seamless. People have not really felt interrupted too much, I think, by the process, and a huge part of that was Nicole Evans. And then also just thanks for all the approvals tonight for everything, because I know it seemed tech heavy, and we are an expensive department, but we do try to be fiscally responsible, and I do just really appreciate the support.
Of course. We enjoyed the new Chromebooks. The kids were very excited about the new Chromebooks. So, Mr. Petrie.
Well, first of all, summer was very short, I have to say. It just seems like it was the end of the year last year, and now we're back at it. This time of the year, it challenges operations with transportation starting out, learning new routes. Believe it or not, though, they are really close to time compared to how it's been the last 2 years. Mm-hmm. Then, of course, nutrition coming back, working through things. But you never hear a complaint. People work together, and they really show that Comet pride. This year, we have a new transportation director, Adam Clary. He's doing well, getting his feet wet. He's seeing we're busy in what we do. And then, of course, Eric Messer, who's transitioning into my role as I exit out to retire. So it's been a lot of fun. You never realize what you do until you have to show someone to do it. And it's just been a lot of fun going through that and seeing what's to come and where the district's going to go.
Well, if it's a lot of fun, just stick around. That's easy. Thank you, Todd. Sean.
Congratulations to the tennis team and Coach Reed. Always fun to see them here in the building. Just a big thank you to all the staff and teams that were part of the back to school push. It's such a huge undertaking. Some of the largest buildings in the state, lots of kids, lots of staff, and so it's always impressive that things go off as well as they do. So thanks to everybody who was part of that. And then lastly, Laura stole my thunder a little bit. I was going to thank her and the HR team and also the payroll team. It's no joke onboarding and setting up 90 new staff this time of year. So there's a lot that goes into that. So thank you for your work there.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks, Sean.
Dr. Cooper.
First recognize our admin assistants. They do a lot of work behind the scenes making like that opening day, all that energy. It's us with a lot of ideas, and we're pulling things together, but they're there really getting the details down and making sure they work. So just want to appreciate all the work they do. Also, our new administrators. So we have Dr. Blessing, Adam Clary, Ashwin Cortill, Amy Dobson, Brandon Lee, Kyle Litchie, and then Eric Messer moving into his new position, which would be Todd's position. So transitioning into that quickly. We're getting ready to go. But just thanking them for just jumping in, because as we were looking at some data earlier, we're pretty lean when it comes to administrators. I think we're in 1.8% in the bottom of the state. So we have big buildings, lots of kids, a few administrators here and there, which is really important to keep it running. But these people jump in and to watch their eyes and their faces when they come out to like MECC, when we do dismissal, or when they all arrive, and they just look like, how many buses are here? How many kids are coming out? And like, this is just how we do it here, because we get used to doing it like that. But yes, we have lines that are there, so they walk on those lines, because if they don't, those little people just walk into the building and they'll go anywhere, because it's just a fun place to go. So it's amazing, and I just am so appreciative of everybody just jumping right in, taking initiative. Our staff this year, the energy is so positive. I was in a classroom today with a teacher, and they were actually doing a lesson with an energy ball, and they wanted me to come see it because we have talked about that before. But to see her talking to her kids about culture in her classroom, so a teacher talking to students about what do they want their culture to be like in their classroom. I love just the conversations our teachers are having, the energy they're bringing each and every day. So just so grateful for that. A couple other just real quick things. Friday Night Lights, okay? Friday Night Lights. I know everybody's tuned in on the edge of their seat. They're waiting for this moment. Friday Night Lights are coming up. We have a big game against a team up north that wears blue, I think. They're coming down here, the Panthers. And when we play them, we have a new procedure going into place for all of our families. So if you're a student, age 8th grade or below, when you come in, you have to have an adult with you. So that's really important. You can't come in without an adult. And then you'll get one of our administrators will be there to greet you and welcome you to the game, and to keep you safe and to make sure that we know you're there with an adult. You'll get a little wristband just to say, yes, you're in, you're supposed to be a part of this. And then you can enjoy the Friday Night Lights. We're doing that proactively just to keep the environment as safe as possible for our students, for our families, and make that a real community outreach. It's one of our largest community events we have each year, when we have over 5,000 of our community members coming together to cheer on the Comets on a Friday night and to see our marching band in their spectacular show during halftime. So welcome everybody to come out, but just know that new procedure will be in place starting this Friday. Besides that, welcome back. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Cooper. And with the conclusion of administrator commentary, we're on item 15, board commentary. And we'll start with the guy that's playing with a plastic fork to my right, Charles Galvin.
Well, I wanted to reiterate some of the thanks to the registration team. I've got a kindergartner this year, and that has allowed me the opportunity to connect with other new families that are also home to kindergartners. And I think that's probably the largest grade where you, by a percentage of who's new to the district, right? You have some kids come in and out in other grades throughout, but just about everybody is entering the district for the first time at that kindergarten level. And by and large, the feedback I got from kindergarten families was excitement about getting the information about their teachers and bus information, and there were just a handful that there might have been a hiccup with something, but the registration team and Mrs. Bly's team over at MECC were very responsive to helping connect those families with solutions and get everything organized quickly in time for them to find their teachers for Comet family orientation days and welcome days. So it was awesome to go over there and see all the little class of 2038 photos being taken and stuff like that. So a really fun week last week, welcoming new families to the district, and just new kids to new old kids to new buildings, and seeing the excitement buzzing around from Monday's staff convocation and the pep rally, and the excitement buzzing around that. Kind of getting to see everybody back and reconnecting with one another. All the way through the Thursday and Friday first days of school, seeing all the kids back. Got to see some of the seniors. I was impressed at the turnout for the senior sunrise on, I think it was Wednesday. A lot of our seniors made a point to get up early and come connect with one another. Saw some of our new and old administrators there, welcoming them, and fortunately the weather. The weather cooperated with no rain, at least. So it was a little more of a cloud rise than a sunrise, but just a very exciting start to the school year. Exciting week last week, and now we are full bore into week 2, and the schedule begins for real. So wishing everybody a great new school year.
Thank you, Charles. But I think you buried the lead. Young Liam Galvin's appearance at the convocation.
He was excited. He came storming out of that tunnel, holding his class of 2038 sign, ready to go. And he has had a smile on his face just about every day since then. So far so good. Every day he gets off the bus grinning, but he won't tell us anything about what happened. So still trying to pull details out of him,
I'd like to tell you it gets more detailed, but I'm not going to lie to you. Thank you, Charles.
Comes with an eye roll later.
That's right.
Good. Eye roll.
That's awesome.
We'll hand it over to Miss England.
I just want to thank you for bringing in the connection to the tennis team. They deserve that recognition as much as anyone else, and it is a hectic time of year, so thanks for doing that for us. As far as starting a new school year, you guys make this so easy on us. History has typically prepared all of us. First couple days of school, we sit by the phone, you know, we watch our texts, see what's going on, and you know, through the years, a couple snafus, people are human, kids get, you know, excited and forget what they're supposed to do. But I appreciate so much what you all do, our leaders in this district, so that our staff, all of our staff, all levels of our staff, come into the buildings every year refreshed, ready to go, so that all of our kids can have experiences like Liam Galvin did, coming through the tunnel. That's what warms my heart. So thank you all for that. It's not easy, but you do it very well.
Thank you, Connie. Vice President Steele.
The beginning of the year is always so much fun for us because, you know, we're not part of the day-to-day work or the prep that our staff does to get ready for the buildings or for opening for the school year. But we get to be there and help celebrate at opening day. And if we have students in the district, we're able to witness it firsthand of welcome days. And so I just wanted to give a shout out to every member of our administration, every member of our staff, from our educators to our support staff to our transportation folks, you name it. It is such a joy to see the joy on everybody's faces about the job that they get to start to do for our students this year. And I know I'm married to a teacher, and I'm sad that the summer is over. Mostly sad, almost entirely sad. There's a little bit of joy about getting back into routines with students, but I get it. Like it's hard to give up the summer, but to see immediately for people to be able to transition and just have the adrenaline just running through their veins, just ready to knock it out for our students, it's inspiring, and we thank you for that, and we're so excited to see what happens this year. So everybody have a great 25-26 school year.
Thank you, Matt. Another thank you and well done to the tennis team. I'm was a parent of a spring sport athlete, and to have recognition for your accomplishments is really hard, and that we are intentional and thoughtful about making sure that those types of accomplishments are recognized on par with every one of their peers that accomplish similar things is awesome, to the point that we are going to look at our SB timeline so that we can recognize more spring athletes' accomplishments. So we're always learning, we're always growing, we're always evolving. As Dr. Brennan said, we are a community of learners. And there's just nothing like new school year energy. I'm a bibliophile. I love books, and to me, there's nothing better than a brand new book. The smell of it, the feel of the pages, and to know that someone took the time to sit down and be thoughtful and intentional about creating this thing that you now get to consume and get to experience the world they created. That's how I feel about the new school year. It's like opening a new book, and the work that this entire district does in creating those pages, and those pages are experiences for our staff and our students, and it's exciting. There's a lot of anticipation. They have hopes and dreams, and there'll be twists and turns, and so I just get super excited about it for our colleague Desiree, who is helping a Comet alum transition to our alums, the class of 2025. They're either maybe going off to college or going into the military or taking a gap year or going into trade school. The transitions, the plot twist, it is all a part of the great sort of story of Mason. So I'm just super excited about it. But the thing I'll leave with is, you have local elections coming up in November, and the field is set, the ballots are set, and so to all those that have stepped up to put their name in the ring, thank you for putting yourself out there to serve your community. And for the first time in 26 years, there will not be a name appearing on that ballot, and so I want to say thank you to Connie. It's the first of a series of thank yous, but I just want to look down and tell you how much I have grown and been benefited and blessed by your presence and knowledge and love and care. And, you know, it'll be a strange occurrence to not see your name on the ballot this November, but we love you and we appreciate you. And so, thank you.
That was very kind, thank you. It's, I will miss it. That will be one thing I can say for sure.
And we'll miss you. So, with that, happy start of the school year, and I will take a motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Yes. Have a good night. Thanks, everybody.